I'm only a chapter in right now. I'm liking it. It's so cringy, it's good. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Casey and I am just starting to make videos on YouTube. And if you're here today, welcome. We're gonna read. I finished Throne of Glass at the beginning of January. And after that, it was the opposite of a book slump. It was like, I just couldn't stop reading and I just read like a lot at once. I didn't film any of it. I read Assistant to the Villain and I loved it. I think I gave it a 4.25. And then right after that, I read Apprentice to the Villain and gave that one a 4.25, which I'm excited about because I think the third book is coming out sometime in the summer. So I will definitely be in line for that one whenever it comes. But now it's February, it's early February, and this video is going to be me getting to some of my most anticipated releases that came out in January. So because of that, my mother and I went to Barnes & Noble and I picked up the books that I needed for this challenge, and I'm so excited. It's not even a challenge, it's just me reading books that I want to read. Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, which is the third book in the, is it Rome? What's the name of the series that she's writing? It's something about Rome, Kentucky. It's like, I don't know if it has a name. It probably does. They all do. I don't know it. Then I got A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. And I love Adrienne Young. I'm a big fan of her writing. I loved Fable. I loved Namesake, Saint, all of those books that she did. I loved The Unmaking of June Farrow. Loved it. I think that was one of my top reads of 2023. I loved that book so much. I just love the almost magical realism that she brings to her books. And they remind me of books that I used to love as a kid. And I think that's what I'm drawn to, is it's almost like a bridge between who I was when I was younger and who I am now. And so I'm really excited to get to this one. And then I got the favorites. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this book. I have been seeing it everywhere. People have been making all these little memes and fan casts and things for the characters in this book. And I am so excited. What I know about it is it's about figure skaters. I think it's lit fic. It's more of a lit fic romance where it's like there's romance in it, but it's also more realistic, and I'm really drawn to those types of books. Last book. Okay, so the last book that I'm reading in this series I actually pre-ordered, so it came in the mail a couple of weeks ago. Onyx Storm. I'm going to start with Beg, Borrow, or Steal, which I've already started it. I'm about 45 pages in. Chapter 4, and so far it's really cute. So far I like it. I'm going to go outside and soak up some sun. It is early February, but we're getting a, what is it called? It's like a fake spring or something here in Texas, where you think that the winter is over and it gets warm for a couple of weeks and then it like goes away again and it gets cold. So I'm gonna go take advantage of it while I can because I am pale as all get out. So I'm gonna go read outside, soak up some sun, and then I have to come inside and clean because our house is a wreck. And that's my job, so. I'm back with a reading update. I have finished over the weekend Beg, Borrow, or Steal. I love this book. I loved it so much. It was so cute. It was so small town. It was everything that you love about a Sarah Adams book. And I'm really thankful that it was because her books have been a little hit or miss for me in the past. I loved her first book, or not her first book, but the first book that I read of hers was The Cheat Sheet. And then I went ahead and read, I think I read When in Rome next, and I loved it. I loved both of those books. I think I gave The Cheat Sheet like a 4.5. I think I gave When in Rome a 5-star because I read it in like a day. So I loved those books. And then I read Practice Makes Perfect and wasn't as big of a fan of that one. I thought the tone of it was very weird. I didn't like the fact that it was the sweet sister, and she was the spiciest one. When I think of Sarah Adams, I think of clean, sweet, cute. The kind of books that I would have loved reading in high school, but for like an older audience. That's what I think of when I think of Sarah Adams. And so Practice Makes Perfect wasn't exactly that for me. And then the rule book came out, I think, last year, and I read that like as soon as it came out and was severely disappointed. I think I gave that one 3 stars. Not like 3 stars is not a bad rating for me. For me, it's like mid. It's like, it was alright. It was an alright book. Some parts of it I enjoyed, some parts of it not so much. It's not my favorite. That's basically a 3-star for me. But this book brought me back. I'm again Team Sarah Adams. Loved it. I think I just really loved the dynamic of Emily, the older sister. Well, frick. I gotta go. Just kidding. No, I'm not. I legitimately stopped the camera as soon as I heard my mom pull up because I refuse to film when other people are here. I'm already awkward enough as it is. I'm not gonna do it in person. I don't even remember where we were at. I know we were talking about beg, borrow, or steal, which reminds me that I didn't even bring up the fact that one of my biggest grievances with this book is how tiny the font is. I opened this book and was like, you've got it. You're kidding. There's no way it's this small. I ended up being okay with it. Didn't end up being that big of a deal. So there's that. I also need to take the sticker off because I hate having stickers on my book. Another elephant to address is that clearly the circumstances of my climate have changed in the sense that I started this book laying out and reading in the sun, and now I have a fire roaring in the fireplace right now. I don't remember where I was with the Beg, Borrow, Steal. Basically, I really liked it. I definitely liked it more than Practice Makes Perfect. But as far as When in Rome, I read When in Rome in like a day. And so it's hard for me to give this one a lower score than that whenever I feel like I enjoyed this one more than that. My rating system is incredibly circumstantial. It's like however I'm feeling in a given moment. So you've got to take my ratings with a grain of salt. I will be as honest as I possibly can, and I'll try to provide feedback about different elements that are like unchanging, I guess. So at least there's some semblance of a foundation that you can take and use as you go forth and read. But the reality is I very much base my 5 stars on the general ambiance of the day. So like When in Rome hit me in a moment in time when I could just pick up a book that I felt like reading, dive into the world head first, and just be there for a day. And I ate it up. I ate that book from top to bottom. I loved it so much I gave it 5 stars. But this one I'm giving a 4.5. I don't even think that I liked it any less. It just didn't feel like a 5-star. I also think that there's a part of me that has changed in my taste for reading. Some parts of this book felt a little bit more juvenile in some areas that I felt could have been stronger. And so for that reason, it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. That's not to knock the book. I loved the book. I thought it was really good. I had a great time reading it. It just wasn't a 5-star. I gave it a 4.5. And so I do think that was a very strong start to this little reading challenge. It's not really a challenge, if I'm being honest. I just want to read these books, and I'm very excited to get to them. But strong start. Very happy about it. So then next, I've started a Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. I'm only 22 pages in. I got past the first chapter and a few pages into the second. I've been reading this for like 3 or 4 days now. And I'm only that far in. That's just because I work during the day and tend to read at night right after I've taken my different sleeping potions. I struggle to fall asleep at reasonable times, so I have to take special hot chocolate. I don't have to. I enjoy it very much. But I take this special hot chocolate that helps me go to sleep, and then I have these chewable sleeping supplements, I guess. But I take those as well, and then within 30 minutes of me going to bed, I'm like out, I say. Because of that, I don't get very far in my reading at night. Hopefully that doesn't impact my rating so far, because again, I really love Adrienne Young. I love her settings very much. I just feel like she has a way of writing that really pulls you in as the reader. Like I'm only a chapter in right now, but within the first few pages, I felt this world. I felt it. The only way I can compare it right now to a feeling is like, you know, the first Twilight movie where you go in, and I love the Twilight movies. Guilty pleasure. I'm absolutely in on the whole, like, it's so cringy, it's good kind of thing. That's not what I'm saying about this book. I'm just saying, like, you know the feeling of that movie when you go in and it's got like hazy cast over it and it's all dark and gloomy and moody. It's very moody. That is this book right now. It just feels that like angst is dripping off the pages. And it's set in Northern California in like the redwoods in this like, I don't know, national forest, I think. It's really cool, and so far I like it. I think it's gonna be a mystery. The premise that I understand so far is that the main character, James, she has an like uncanny connection with her twin brother, Johnny, and something happens to Johnny and she can feel it, and she has to go back to this town that she escaped when she was younger and try to figure out what happened to him. And like I said, the way that this setting captures the reader and like brings them in, I have very little experiences with books that do it as well as this. Like the second I start reading again, I'm there. This one, I loved it. I did. But it was a little harder for me to sometimes put myself in this world because it's a little bit more cutesy, and it's like that picture perfect storybook world, or like storybook small town where the characters are all quirky and the townspeople aren't fully realistic, I guess. They're all just silly, which I love. Again, I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying Adrienne Young does it different. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's where we're at. I will hopefully come back and update later as we get further throughout the book. And yeah.
She could be grunting the whole time.
It's okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Hello everybody, this is my friend Addie.
Hello.
Today we are making Valentine's cakes. Addie is attempting to make hers into a heart. It's turning out actually really cute. I was skeptical at first.
It was terrifying. I think we did it.
Now we're just doing the fun part of decorating and icing, and welcome to that.
Love you, Lila.
We should address this for the audience, but Addie has a precious baby girl. She is present, and you shall hear her throughout the video.
Yes.
Addie, are you reading anything right now?
I am kind of reading Beg, Borrow, or Steal.
Are you reading that? I just finished that.
You did?
I did. I just finished it.
I'm literally like
Just
maybe
starting?
like 2 chapters in.
Okay. What are your first vibes after those 2 chapters?
I don't feel like I have an opinion yet.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna like it more than the last one I read, which was Rulebook. But I'm excited to keep reading it because I normally really like a lot of Sarah Adams books.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to read it too. I'm glad you're reading it.
I haven't really read a whole lot. Like, I haven't finished a book this year other than Reckless.
You've been kind of busy.
Yeah, I'd say so. What you doing? Do you think you can put me up some more supplies to make more icing? I said, sure. This isn't quite panning out how I thought.
Would you know that I took 3 years of baking classes in homeschool class?
I would.
How did your cake turn out, Addie?
It's still a work in progress. My husband is getting more icing because I ran out. And then I ran out of ingredients to make more. So this is just the first layer. I'll send Casey a photograph whenever it's finished.
And that'll go right here.
And it might not look any better. But we had fun, and that's what matters.
Okay, I am about halfway through A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young, and I'm liking it, but a lot of the book feels like it's happening in the past, and it's something that we're being told about rather than getting to read and experience. And very much an experiential person. Like, I want to feel and be surprised by what's happening. The vibes of this book are unmatched. The cover, how dark and spooky it kind of looks, that's how this book feels. And so I really, really like that about it. I just don't like being told about all the stuff that we're missing as the reader, stuff that we don't know, because you're in this mystery, right? And part of the mystery is solving a tragedy that happened. You're just being told constantly about this person that this tragedy happened to. We don't get to know them. I think part of that is supposed to be the mystery element. Like, we don't actually know the person. Like, maybe the tragedy isn't the tragedy. We don't even know what the tragedy is yet. We don't know what happened, but we know what one of the tragedies is. Something happened in the past and we don't know what that is, and that's supposed to give us a hint, I think, into what is happening now. And it's all really confusing. I don't know. I love Adrian Young, but this one is not my favorite. I don't not like it. I just wish that I connected to the story better and that it was formatted a little bit differently. But that's just a personal preference, and that's where we're at. I'm staying at my cousin's apartment right now. I'm in his office. His wife set up a little blow-up bed for me in here. It's so sweet. I think tomorrow we're gonna go book shopping. I'm very, very excited. I love talking about books with him, but he's very smart, and the kind of books that he reads are classics and classics. So we don't really connect over the books that we read, which is funny. That's why I'm whispering. It's because I don't want to wake them up. See you tomorrow for book shopping, maybe, if I'm brave enough to film. Pray that I am. Good night.
Dude, golly. No, alright. Look, the salmon belly rolls. Picture this. You're out by the streams in Japan fishing, catch a good salmon. You got Marika Samo from Shogun. She hands you the perfect roll. That's what it is, dude. It's so freaking good. 20-piece chicken nugget. You want anything? Sweet and sour. You want ranch? That'll be all.
Okay, I am just now coming back from a walk, and I need to give my update and review because I finally finished A Sea of Unspoken Things. I am going to give it a 3.5. That's not a bad review. That's a good review. But also, it wasn't my favorite of Adrian Young's. I just felt like, you know, there were two tragedies I mentioned earlier that were kind of alluded to throughout the book. And when you finally figure out what the one from the past was, the thing that has been weighing on our main character the whole time, it's kind of a little underwhelming, if I'm being honest, because frankly, I don't agree with the main character's reaction to things. I felt that she kind of overreacted almost all of the time, and I don't know, I just disagree. I disagree with how a lot of things were handled. In the tragedy from the past, there's this moment where you find out that the tragedy occurred because somebody came to the defense of somebody else, and our main character's reaction to it was along the lines of, I can't believe that this happened. I can't believe that it went this far. It was intentional and it was the worst thing that could have happened, kind of thing, and it's ruined our lives ever since. But to me, personally, in my opinion, people should be held accountable for their actions. And if the thing that happened was the thing that set off the chain of events that led up to the ultimate tragedy or whatever it is that happened that I'm alluding to that I don't want to give away in case you want to read it. If that happened and it was intentional, who cares? The person had it coming. And because of that, I just felt like every single time something was revealed, it was just so overblown and like it was the craziest thing that could be imagined. And I just didn't agree. It wasn't my favorite, and I'll just leave it there. I'm not going to try to put words to it anymore because I can't. A little disappointed. 3.5 for the vibes. Still a pretty good book. Would I read it again? Probably not. Would I recommend it? It's up to you, genuinely, and it always is. It's always up to you, and I just felt like I was left wanting more and unsatisfied. Unsatisfied is a good way to put it, I think. I think that the story in the book could have been so much more, but it's a personal story to the author, and so I hate to rag on it too much. I did enjoy the experience. I enjoyed some of the experience, not all of it. So I just started the audiobook for The Favorites. I needed to get that going and I've been busy, so I just put the audiobook on. And I really like it. I really like it so far. I think it was Sarah Caroli that reviewed it and said it reminded her of Daisy Jones and the Six. And the audiobook definitely does. The way that the audiobook is recorded with multiple voice actors and it's in that interview format after years down the line from some sort of something that happens, I don't know exactly, following and documenting the careers of legends. It's just that vibe, you know, Daisy Jones and the Six, which I love. I love Daisy Jones and the Six, which I only audiobooked it, but I love that audiobook and I recommend that to anybody who asks. That's one of my top recommended of all time is Daisy Jones and the Six on audiobook. And so I think I'm gonna try to do both. I think I'm gonna audiobook and read The Favorites, maybe at the same time. I've never done that where I've listened to the audiobook while I read it, but it might be that kind of vibe. But we'll see. Anyway, we'll catch up later. Gotta go shower and get ready for all this other stuff I've got going on, but we'll see you later. Hopefully it's not too loud out here for me to give a quick update. I am almost done with The Favorites. I am on page 384, chapter 74, and I think I've got about 50 pages left. It's really coming to a head at this point in the book, and I don't know, I just feel already emotionally invested and overcome, and I felt like I needed to bring out the camera. That's crazy. What is that? What is that? Oh, there's a fuzz. No, I feel so emotionally vulnerable with this story right now, and I just wanted to try to catch a reaction as we're leading up into this big ending, I guess, and see how it wraps up. It's just something about competitive people. There's something about it, you know, and people who spend their whole lives working for something and seeing the payout. I think it's people with dreams. I think dreamers really strike a chord with me, and so I'm loving this book. I am nervous, but I also cannot wait to see how it ends. So here we go. This is just a really good quote that I want to share from the end of the book. I don't think it gives away anything, but she says, "I wanted to shake her by the shoulders and tell her that it wasn't too late. She could wake up. She could realize that there's more to life than winning. Happiness can't be won. It couldn't be hung around our necks while a crowd of thousands cheered. It wasn't a prize, something we had to suffer and toil to earn. If we wanted happiness, we had to create it ourselves. Not in one shining moment on a metal stand, but every single day over and over again." I think that's what everybody's trying to learn over and over again. I think you have to relearn that over and over again in life, that you have to choose to be happy. You have to shape your perspective and decide how you're going to live your life. And happiness is a choice, you know? It's not whenever you get to this certain result, you can finally be happy. And that's something that I've learned over the course of my life, and it's something that I've had to keep relearning, because there's always a new goal, there's always a new dream, and you just think once you get there, then you'll finally have everything. But everything doesn't exist, you know, because this is an imperfect world, and we are imperfect people, and you just gotta make the most of what you have while you have it. And so this is just such a good book, such a good book. That I think I have 2 chapters left, so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish that and see what's happening. I have no idea what's happening right now. That's crazy. Okay, it is time to wrap up this video. I never ended up getting to Onyx Storm. I know I said I was going to read it in the month of February, but February is long gone. And I would rather just get this video up and let Onyx Storm be its own thing than try to force it. Which is funny because I am planning on forcing it within the next week. But I have a different idea for what I want to do with that book because it's such a big thing right now. So I'm not getting to it in this video. I'm sorry if you were hoping that I would. I did get through 3 books in the month of February. I know, I'm a real overachiever over here. But it's just been, it was a hectic month. And I'm happy that I got through what I did. I have to change the light's gonna be in my eyes again. Ugh, I am tempted to go get sunglasses because this is the only place that makes sense for me to do this video. I could do it up there. Hold up, we're changing scenes. Okay, I'm still concerned about the wind noise up here and the light being in my eyes. But the thing is, it is too dark in my house right now, so this is what it is. We're gonna try to deal with it and get through the end of this video as quickly as possible. In February, I ended up reading Beg, Borrow, or Steal, A Sea of Unspoken Things, and The Favorites, which was my favorite. Beg, Borrow, or Steal, I thought was such a cute little rom-com. I really enjoyed reading it. I gave it a 4.5. And yeah, no real notes. That's a lie. I had notes before. I'm just not remembering them at the moment. But anyway, 4.5, really good book. I would recommend. There is some spice in it, which again, I think I mentioned this earlier. It's unexpected of a Sarah Adams, but she's getting more into that zone. Go into that with a little bit of warning, you know, just be aware that it's in there and be ready to skip pages or whatever it is that you do. If that doesn't bother you, it's fine. Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young was very moody, very ambiance-y. I enjoyed the feelings of the book. I enjoyed the immersion of the book. But as far as the actual book itself, I really got through it just to get through it. And that's a sad thing for me to say because I love Adrienne Young. She's an auto-buy author, no matter what. I just think she's such a good writer. So I gave A Sea of Unspoken Things a 3.5 stars. And then The Favorites by Lane Fargo. What a book. So good. I had so much emotion at the end of it. What a roller coaster. The way that this book ended, I was not expecting it. I follow a lot of booktubers and people on Instagram that talk about their reaction to these things, and I had followed a lot of people that had read The Favorites before I did. The most common thing I saw was people taking these figure skater videos and overlaying The Last Time. Was it The Last Time by Taylor Swift? This is the last time I'm asking you how. This is the last time I'm asking. It has to be the last time I'm singing it. It has to be the last time. But yeah, so it was the last time, and people have really emotional reactions to this ice dance with Taylor Swift playing in the background. I was going into it ready for that moment, and it did hit. It hit me in such an emotional. Okay, my phone just ran out of storage. I gotta go and hurry because I had to go back and delete a bunch of videos. This is my final